Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Nick, your host of On the Scene with Martini. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, you are the scene. Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick, on the Scene with Martini. Today I'm here with Ryan from Scranton Wilkes-Barre, one step closer. How you doing, Ryan?
Dude, I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of
Welcome to
course.
the show.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you. I guess we'll just kind of start off with like a heavy question. I mean, growing up, being from like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, you guys have a lot of popular pop punk bands, metal bands that come out of that area. What was kind of like one band that like stuck with you that kind of got you onto the scene itself?
I mean, I guess I would say like Cold World and Title Fight were probably my main introduction into like hardcore and that kind of stuff. From like a super early age, I was like introduced to Title Fight. My one of my best friends growing up, his older brother was pretty involved in the hardcore scene at the time, and he like absolutely loved Title Fight, just like everybody in the area did. So he was showing us Title Fight when we were like 9, 10 years old. Before Shed even came out, like he was showing us songs off The Last Thing You Forget and different stuff like that. So that was probably my true introduction. And then once I started skating and meeting more people, I think they put me onto a lot more bands and started, taking me along with them when they would go to shows. And yeah, it was sick.
For like a band like Title Fight, like you said that you saw them before Shed, just for like background, I guess. Were they like, was it like crazy to see how they like developed in terms of like the shows that they were playing, or were they kind of like already pretty well known, I guess I could say, like
Well,
when
at
you
the
started finding out about them?
I guess at the time, when I heard The Last Thing You Forget, that was probably they were still playing smaller shows for the most part. I didn't see them until like 2011, and they played this venue called Redwood, which was a pretty popular spot in Wilkes-Barre back in the day. That they did like a secret set there technically because I think that they were on Warped Tour at the time and they weren't able to do any shows outside of Warped Tour because of like their contract for Warped Tour or whatever. So they did it under like an alias name and then did like a secret set and it was sick. But I think that was like 2011, maybe 2012. So it was before Floral Green came out and like Shed was out at the time. So I feel like that's when they were like really starting to pop like crazy. And then as soon as like, Floral Green came out, I feel like that's when they really got bigger.
Was that kind of a band that like would influence you? Because like you are being a frontman and stuff, I assume you do like a lot of like the like lyrics and stuff. Would you say like Title Fight kind of had like a influence on your writing style at all, or because you guys have some like pretty emotional songs, I guess I could say.
Yeah, I mean, I think that band has influenced me from like the very start of, just as a, playing guitar and making music in general with like everything that I've done. I feel like that was always like a very influential band. But at the same point, like I mean, I do write like all the lyrics for the songs and stuff like that, but I also pull from like a lot of different areas, but I think I tend to just write what feels natural for me, and not try to focus on like what other bands are doing too much
Mhm.
with that kind of stuff because I want it to feel authentic to the band. But I mean, Ned and Jamie's lyrics for like all the Title Fight stuff are incredible. So it's definitely an influence for sure.
Fair enough. So one step closer, your first EP came out in like 2019-ish, I think it was, right?
Yeah, I mean that was our first. We put that out on Triple B. We did like a demo and like a 6 song kind of EP ish thing, but it wasn't really. It just like was like a tape that we did before that, but no one really cared about it.
Yeah. How long were you guys playing before putting that out?
We started in 2017. and really didn't like play any shows like outside of our area more until like 2018. And that's kind of when we started playing in the Northeast a little bit more. We did some shows down the East Coast, and then as soon as For Me to You came out in 2019, we did our first like more proper tour down to FYA Fest and came back from that. And then that year, we really started to like tour and play a lot of the festivals and just do a bunch of cool stuff. And yeah, just had more opportunities just because I think people cared about that EP more than what we did in the past.
So, like, was FYA like your first big hardcore punk festival, or?
Yeah, that was like the first one that I ever attended. Actually, no, I attended This Is Hardcore in 2016 before the band even started.
Okay.
And then, so this was, I guess, the second time going to like a hardcore fest. But yeah, first time ever playing one, first time ever like traveling really far for one. And yeah, it was an awesome experience. It was super sick. Bob does a really, really good job with FYA.
What was like your guys' first? So like you guys kind of started, right? You're playing like local shows, and then now you're going down to FYA. Like, what was kind of like the feelings behind that? Like, this is getting real, or was it kind of just like still like more like a fun thing for you guys? Which obviously it's still a fun thing, but you guys were still getting into like the touring aspect.
Yeah, I mean, that was, we didn't think anything of, trying to tour and make music and make it like a thing that we do for a living or anything like that. And not even that we do that fully now, but it's just like, that was our first experience of touring. And then later that year, when we did our first like full US tour, that uh, my friend Grady and I booked fully ourselves and got to do a lot of really cool. We played Sound and Fury and This Is Hardcore and all these other really cool festivals and stuff along the way. Like, I think that's what really kind of changed my perspective of like, damn, maybe we should just tour and like see what happens and not even that like we're gonna be making money or doing anything like that, but just like for the experience, just to like see some new places and get to meet people. So yeah, I mean, at the time we were just doing it to just tour and see places.
Booking like a pretty big US tour without a TM, I feel like it's a pretty like ballsy thing. Would you like, was it like a, have you booked shows prior to that, like just like local shows that you kind of had like a little bit of experience, or was this kind of all just you went in raw and learned?
No, Grady and I both booked shows like locally. He's from Connecticut. He plays in a band called Anxious.
Hmm.
So Grady booked shows in Connecticut pretty often and would try to get some hardcore bands on that were rolling through if they needed a show. And at the time, I think I maybe did like two or three shows on my own in Wilkes-Barre just with friends bands and One Step Closer playing and stuff like that. So we kind of understood how it worked for the most part, but we were just reaching out to people and hoping for the best. And then we thankfully we made some friends along the way, like before then, that had good suggestions for people that would put on a good show. And yeah, I mean, we just DIY booked most of it ourselves, other than like the festivals, and it was like the most amazing time. And I think we're all like 18, 19 years old, so it's just like getting to travel and just being fresh out of high school, and getting that experience. I think really put things in perspective for like what we wanted to do and what we were like, excited to try to push the band forward and see what we could do.
So like for you guys are, or you said you and Grady's from Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys kind of like come about like meeting? Was it through like the music scene, or does he also skate?
No, he actually booked our first time ever in Connecticut, and we just like met online, like on Instagram, and he just like messaged me and was like, "Yo, I'd love to book you guys up here at some point." And like, we just became like really, really close. And I played in Anxious for a few years, and Grady played in One Step Closer for a few years, and those were like some of our best friends, like in the scene, and still are like some of my favorite people of all time that I've met doing music and stuff. So we just connected, and then we would just book each other's bands in our respective cities, and it was just like the best thing. It was really fun.
Did you play guitar then in Anxious for a little bit?
Yeah, I was playing guitar with them I started on that US tour and then played with them for like 3 years. And Grady did the same with us. He was playing with us for like 3 years and he played guitar. And yeah.
Did you guys like when was it? Because One Step Closer was a little bit before Anxious, right? Did he kind of step out to start like recording like Little Greenhouse and stuff, or
No, he was Anxious started around the same time
okay,
as a three piece in like 2016, 2017. So
gotcha.
both bands kind of started around the same time frame, but just like we just didn't meet until years later. And then uh yeah, I think he was still in OSC when Little Greenhouse was recorded because I was still playing with Anxious and recorded some stuff on Little Greenhouse as well. So I believe that we were still both playing uh, in each other's bands, but it was through the pandemic, so we just weren't really playing very much, or doing anything. So so yeah, we just became really close because of booking each other's bands.
When you guys were on like that first big US tour, was there like a specific like city or area that you guys were like that really showed love for like that first time? Which the cool thing I guess about hardcore is that like everyone tries to go to every single, well, most people like seeing the first band to the last band. And you guys kind of branching out for the first time. Was there like a scene or a area that really showed love
I
that you
mean,
recall?
one obviously playing Sound and Fury, we were all really stoked for, but I was just shocked because that was our first time ever on the West Coast, even in general. Just like we've never even been to California before, on vacations or anything like that. So
Hmm.
that was just we were all really stoked for that. And we were like, well, hopefully we play to some people. And we played the second stage, which was upstairs at the Belasco. And they had to cap off the room from like letting people in because the room was completely filled. So it was just like we were all really shocked, obviously, because we've never played there before. And yeah, and the set was just like crazy. So it was just a really cool full circle moment for us, I think, getting to play that festival in general, but also just being so excited to be there and to go over so well. Like, I don't know, that just like kind of made the tour for us, I think.
Yeah, like when you guys obviously have like a pretty, especially now, like a pretty loyal fan base, I would say, especially in my area. When you guys like first saw like that, that guy trying to grab the microphone to like sing the words, like what did that kind of like mean to you? Like, was
Yeah,
that kind of like a this is it moment or?
no, that's just like everything. That's everything I ever wanted the band to be. We want people singing the words, and it was awesome. Yeah, that was the first show. Like on that tour, we played in Boston. We did the Have Heart reunions, and that tour was like truly the first time where people. It seemed like people really knew the words and people knew what to do, and it was crazy. It was awesome. So yeah, I mean that's even now that's all I strive for, and that's what we want is just people to know the words and sing along.
Yeah. I mean, playing on like a Have Heart reunion, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. But that's they're Boston based. Did like Grady have anything to do with that, like in terms of booking, or did they Pat kind of reach out to you guys or?
Now Pat reached out to us because we met him in 2018 when we played like a little outside this little town outside of Boston called Upton, and
Okay.
there was like a VFW hall that people were booking shows at. And like the turnouts were never good because it was just far enough outside of Boston that I think that people didn't really want to travel. So it was like, we're playing to like 20, 30 people maybe.
Yeah.
And then like, one night that we played there was like kind of a bigger show there. And Sam, who does Triple B, and Pat, who's in Fiddlehead and Have Heart and all that stuff, like they were both there and they seemed both, pretty stoked on the set, even though we definitely sounded terrible. Like we definitely played terribly, and like
Yeah.
we were just starting, so we just weren't very, very good. And like he came over and bought a shirt, and I remember that being like the biggest like I was so excited, and me and our guitar player Ross were just like so excited that like he even just acknowledged that the band played and like came over and got a shirt and stuff like that. And then later we became friends, like a year down the line, and he. I remember I was leaving class at the time because I was in college, and he texted me and he was like, "Yo, give me a call like whenever you get a chance." And he calls me and he's like, "Well, Have Heart's doing a reunion. Like, would One Step Closer want to play?" And I just remember like another freak out moment, and it's so weird now because I feel like, we've known Pat for so long, but it's just like that was like such an inspirational band and still is, but and them doing a reunion was such a big deal that I would watch the Have Heart last show video almost like every day,
Hmm.
like and I was like, I can't believe we get to play these and experience it. And I still can't believe we got that opportunity to do it. But yeah, just like such a crazy moment for us.
It's funny that you say that because like the video that everyone always has like a few like hardcore like punk shows that they love watching, and
Mm-hmm.
mine is Have Heart at Outbreak,
Oh
last year.
yeah.
Dude, that's like
Amazing.
it's like my favorite. Like in the rain too. Everyone's like
Yeah.
slipping and falling, and Pat's like he has like the white shirt on, and then by the end of it, it's like just brown, and you're like, it's just like it's such a great set, and he does
Yeah.
such a great job of like stage presence and stuff, which I absolutely love that about Have Heart, I would say.
He is an incredible frontman and incredible lyricist as well. Like absolutely incredible. That Boston show was one still probably the craziest set I've ever seen in my entire life with my own two eyes. And just like playing that set or like our own set that night was insane. And it was just like such a cool moment that felt so cool that we were just there to experience it. Whether we played or not, I was just
Yeah.
happy that we were there and able to watch them, like watching Have Heart's side stage with like some of my best friends, like was just, yeah, it was just crazy. So,
When you guys like first started, was there like a direction that you guys want to go to? Because you guys kind of have like uh just like a punky hardcore sound, but like some of the songs I would say like have like a touch of like pop punk at times. Like was there like kind of like a sound that you guys were going for in the hardcore world when you first started that kind of developed?
yeah, we just wanted to do like way more melodic kind of stuff, like be more like a Have Heart or a Turning Point or those were like our big inspirations, but we also like really loved a lot of the 90s like emo stuff as well. So we
Hmm.
were just kind of putting all those influences together and doing it. And I think later, I think it's hard to when you combine melody with like kind of faster songs. I think sometimes it feels like pop punky in a way.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I think that's because that's just kind of what that whole genre is for the most part. But we're still like obviously like our roots are in hardcore, so it's always
Yeah.
like from that standpoint. But I think yeah, we just wanted to be a melodic band, a melodic hardcore band, and I think that's just kind of grown and now we are kind of expanding our sound to see where it kind of takes us next.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on that because you guys put out that single this year, Jinx,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like I don't want to say like slower, but it felt like more like vocal heavy, very like I don't know, like I don't want to say like a radio song, but you know what I mean? Like it sounded more like you
No, I
guys were
know what you
trying
mean.
to experiment with sound. Was that kind of something that you guys wanted to do? Because you guys came out with All You Embrace in 2024. Was that just a song that you guys kind of had on like the back burner, or you guys just wanted to just put something out to keep it out when you guys were touring?
We just wanted to put something out before the headliner,
Okay.
and we had some songs already cooking because we've just been. I feel like since All You Embrace, we didn't really like fully stop writing music. We just took a little breather and then just kind of started back up in the fall, like after the record came out, and just kind of kept writing music. So we kind of just wanted to put something out. And at first, we were just like, maybe we should save this for a record and stuff like that. But we felt like this was the best time to experiment, put a single out, see if people liked it, and then kind of, you know, see, like, kind of just figure out if we were going to go that direction and commit fully or not.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what we're fully going to do. We're not going to fully commit to what Jinx is, but I think I personally really love that song. And I
Same.
think it's like one of my personal best vocal performances I've ever had on a track. So it just felt good and motivating to be able to put out a song and be like, I feel like we're progressing and just getting better at writing music and figuring out what the band truly is. And I think that's kind of what we're striving for now, working towards, another LP, hopefully sooner than later.
Did you as a frontman kind of like feel like you developed just in terms of like stage presence and vocal style from like when you first started to now? Was there like things that you noticed along the way that you changed, or was it kind of just like you're gonna go out and play and see how it goes you know what I mean? Like was there like changes in your mind that were like, boom, we're going?
100%. Yeah. I mean, when I first started playing One Step Closer and like, we started the band and I played our first show, like I was barely even looking at the crowd. Like I was
Okay.
trying not to make eye contact with the crowd because I was just like nervous. I've never done it before, and it was something very new for me. And then eventually, I got way better with that. And I think now I feel way more comfortable and in tune with what I want to do on the stage and what just like gets me excited and what makes me feel like it's like a natural reaction to what the music makes me do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's very like this part makes me want to do this thing with my body. You know what I'm saying? It's really
Yeah.
stupid, but it's
No,
like
I get it 100%.
yeah, it's just like a very like natural kind of fluent thing. And there's a lot of people. I mean, like Brendan from Turnstile is obviously amazing frontman. Like and very I feel like he kind of has that same vibe where he just flows with what the music does. And Pat from Have Heart, another great example, very great stage presence and just like also kind of just flows with how what the music is doing and what it makes him, feel. I don't know. I think that's kind of the vibe of what I strive to do. And I vocally and singing and stuff, my vocal has just changed and progressed over the years. I think just from doing it and learning and figuring out what works best for me and what how not to like blow my voice out, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, or destroy myself, while I'm up there. So that's also just kind of changed naturally over the years, and I think you kind of just figure those things out by playing a lot and touring as much as you can.
Was there ever like, and you might not even remember, but when you were like kind of first starting, or even now, was there ever like a conversation that you had with like, I don't want to say like an old head, but like, you know what I mean? Like someone that's a little bit more experienced, like in the scene that kind of gave you like a little bit of advice, or like you tried to pick their brain that you kind of recall that you kind of use to today?
I just remember like when I was saying earlier that I wouldn't really look at the crowd,
Hmm.
and our friends would always just be like, you have to like own what you're doing. You have to completely own what you're doing on the stage, off the stage, with your merch, with your music, what you're doing with everything with the band. You have to own that and like, you know, just make it real. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of always stuck with me since that time. And I feel like that opened my mind with being a better frontman and just being a little bit more cautious about being direct with people and not just like turning around because I'm nervous about it. Um, but yeah, that was probably the one tip that really kind of helped change my perspective on the band in general.
Yeah. When you guys, this is like a question that I kind of forgot to ask earlier, but when you guys first started with One Step Closer, was there like a reason why you guys went with One Step Closer? Obviously, like Linkin Park has a really famous song, One Step Closer. Was there any
Yeah.
correlation with that or?
No, it was just because we like the acronym like OSC.
Okay.
And I feel like we use that a lot and people like reference us as OSC now, you know what I mean? A lot.
Yeah.
So it's just like we wanted to, we thought doing a name with an acronym would be catchier for people and hopefully a little bit more memorable for people. Um, and our bass player at the time was just like, yo, what about One Step Closer? And I like Linkin Park, but at the time, like none of us were even thinking of like, oh,
Yeah.
let's rip off this song from the band and name the band that.
Yeah.
It was just happens to be a thing. And we've gotten it forever. Like people asking. I feel like it's chilled out a lot, but we still get it.
Yeah.
People ask. But honestly, at this point, I kind of want to just start telling people, yeah, like we just stole it from the
Yeah.
from the
You're spot
song.
on.
Yeah, like you're exactly right, man. Like you got it. Yeah.
It's funny, like when I was talking to Ryan from Football Head, I was like, is that from Hey Arnold? He was like, no, but it kind of just worked out. And I was like, fair enough.
Yeah. No, we thought the same thing when like when we were in talks about like what bands we wanted to tour with us. Uh our manager actually showed us Football Head, and I was like, this band is so sick. And usually I feel like manager suggestions are a little iffy, you know. I'm
Yeah.
like, but I never heard of them at the time, and then we were just constantly listening to them, and our guitar player Ross was like, this got to be a Hey Arnold reference, like it has to be. And like yeah, like they said the same thing to us. They were just like, yeah, it like kind of is, but it's like not, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It
So
yeah, and I appreciate you guys because Ryan was telling me that you guys obviously got them onto that tour, and now me and Ryan are like, oh, me and Ryan are like friends, and we kind of bonded, and we met at that Reading show. I actually just had him on the podcast a week ago,
oh
and
nice.
the new intro song that will I think actually may debut this episode when we release is a Football Head song that I got from them. Like we kind of like
Oh,
worked together,
sick.
so yeah,
That's dope.
it's cool like things with like that in the scene. It's like we're like one of the few scenes that does stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
you can actually like have a conversation with the front man and like you can like call each other friends and get put on GLs and not even just go to shows together, but now you're like boys, you know?
Yeah, you meet a lot of people. We've met so many people over the years that I'm very thankful that we've met, you know, and people that have truly like become some of my best friends ever are because of making music and playing in this scene, you know. So, yeah, I mean, and Ryan's my boy. I love him.
He's
He's
cool.
such a great dude, and
Yeah.
that tour was super fun. We were super stoked to have them on that, and they just yeah, they were a great vibe the entire tour. It was sick.
When you guys obviously travel a ton. Like you guys have been doing a ton of like overseas stuff. You were saying Australia with
Yeah,
Drain. You guys played Japan a few times, right?
yeah, two times now.
How like what is when you're going overseas like that first time, what was like your first initial like thoughts of like are these people gonna like get it or are you guys just gonna try to go there, act like you guys are a new band and just go for, you know what I mean? Like what was kind of
I
like the expectations there?
I think it's like anything when you go to a new place, you feel like you kind of have to no, I don't want to say grind, but you kind of need to start over again a little
Hmm.
bit where you know there might be people there that know you, but there's probably a lot of people that have never heard of your band before and you kind of just need to put a really good impression out there of like what your band is. I the first time that we went overseas was to Europe in 2020, like right before the pandemic with Turnstile and this band called Gag and Glitter opened the tour, and that tour was incredible. And I
Yeah.
think because we were doing such like you know we got asked to do Turnstile tour. Of course, people already liked Turnstile a lot before the pandemic, before Glow On. Like they were already a poppin' band, especially out there because at that point they probably toured Europe, you know, 9, 10 times before even before Glow On came out. So they were very established out there, and I think it gave us a really cool opportunity to play in front of a lot of people that also liked what we were about. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So that definitely gave us the leg up in the UK and Europe. And I think playing Outbreak Fest like really helped out there overseas. But for Australia and Japan, you know, we were just like especially Japan, we were very much not knowing what to expect, you know, and
Yeah.
both times that we played Japan have been incredible, like amazing. It's just such an amazing culture, such an amazing scene that they have there. And you know, this past time that we were there, I played probably top 5 sets of all time for me was our last show in Tokyo, like before we left. And yeah, they're just amazing.
Do you guys work with Ice Girls then when you guys are out there pretty much? Just in terms of
We
like booking and stuff, because they're like the main guys out there for booking and right and like
w-
just records in general.
Ice Girls does more of like the pop punk side of stuff.
Okay.
So he'll do like No Pressure and Anxious and bands kind of a little bit that way. And we're like I feel like we kind of toe in between, but Koba who does Blood Axe Fest out there
Okay.
and like he's pretty much the hardcore booker out there for the most part and brings a lot of bands out. So he reached out to us in 2020 about getting us out, or in 2021 about getting us out there in 2022. And Koba is like one of my favorite people ever. He
Yeah.
is amazing and really takes care of us out there. And, uh, you know, all the love to like everybody that we've met out there in Mizuki and all those people that do ice grills and even that run Nerds record store and all that stuff. But Koba is my man. I love him.
When you were like that, so first EP comes out in 2019, and then in like 2020, 2021, they're talking about like touring in Japan. Like, what was kind of, was there like a moment that you guys were like, maybe we need to like take a step back, or was it just like momentum, keep going?
I think it was kind of like momentum, uh, just trying to keep grinding and not even grinding at that point. It was just kind of like we just want to play. We
Hmm.
want to play shows. We want to tour, and we were like addicted to the feeling of like playing shows, and that like kind of went through the pandemic. Obviously, we were not playing shows for like a year and a half. So when everything came back, I think we fully decided that we were just like, let's just do the thing and see where it takes us. Let's take some time off school. Like I have an associate's degree, in graphic design and stuff like that. And I like everyone was just on the page of taking some time off school and just touring and seeing what happens. And then, we get to Japan and we're getting to tour Europe multiple times and we're getting to Australia and Southeast Asia and all these places. And yeah, and now like, if the band ended tomorrow for some reason, I would be so happy with everything that we've accomplished,
Hmm.
and all the places that we've gotten to go. So yeah, we just it's kind of crazy. My parents have never even really been out of our state very often. They've never been to California. They've never been a lot of places, so they think it's, pretty crazy that I get to travel and do the stuff too.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Like, did you have like parental support kind of from the get-go, or did they kind of have to see like, hey, like mom, dad, like these Scranton shows are going well, like we might go to Japan next. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was kind of like the conversation there?
I mean, my dad started teaching me how to play guitar when I was like 8 years old.
Okay.
So, he plays in a cover band here actually at home that's like really popping, and they play like all the time. And like he just does it on the weekends, but like they do it for fun and they make like good money doing it. So it's like that's what he does on the weekends. And I think he's always wanted to be in a band that like tours and does the thing. And him and my mom are like so supportive, and like they'll just listen to One Step Closer. Like I'll walk in the house and my mom is literally listening to like Giants Despair or something on her phone, or like on, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and they're like so supportive and they just love it. And yeah, I mean, they've always, since I don't think that my mom was super stoked about me like stopping school early and not doing a bachelor's degree or anything like that. But my dad was fully like, just do it. You have the opportunity. You're young. Go experience the world. Like go experience things. Just because I think that they never had that opportunity to do it.
Yeah. When you were first starting out, like you said your dad started teaching you how to play guitar. Did you have like any like bands that kind of like rock ones or whatever that kind of taught you, or scales that you really want to go for practice starting out and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think Green Day was. I mean, Green Day is probably my favorite band of all time, just
Okay.
because it's been a band I've loved since I was a kid. Um, but yeah, I just learning Green Day songs and learning like, my dad loves the hair band, and like all that era of like classic rock and different things. So I'm learning like Van Halen songs once I start, getting a little bit better. And then I'm learning, Led Zeppelin songs and all these different things. Cause that's kind of what I grew up with outside of like anything that's a little bit more rock leaning, like learning Foo Fighter songs, learning Blink songs, learning Green Day songs, learning, all that kind of stuff. And then eventually when I was like, 11, 12, and really starting to get into different things that were, a little bit like my own personal music taste, I guess, that I was just kind of learning songs on my own and ripping. to like a CD in my room or, on the radio and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
just trying to pick up on what they're doing. So, but yeah, my dad, he's pretty much the reason why I play music.
Did he sorry. Did when you still like practice pretty often like guitar as much as you used to, or is it something that like you kind of wish you still played as much as you used to?
I mean, when I'm at home, I play guitar probably 3, 4 times a week.
Okay.
Still, yeah. I mean, I wish I had a drum set up just because I play drums as well, and it's just that one is tough to manage playing all the time when you just don't have the space for a drum set, or you can't really be loud all the time. So I that's one thing that I wish I had more time to play and had a setup. But yeah, I mean, I still write a lot of the One Step Closer songs on guitar and do a good bit of that. So right now, like I'm playing guitar like pretty much every single day.
Nice. Like when you guys have some pretty big shows and tours coming up. You guys are going with counterparts in
Yeah,
next year. It's you were saying how you like playing shows as many times. I was looking at the schedule. You guys are basically playing like every day with
yeah,
counterparts.
dude,
Like
that
that's an
tour is
insane.
crazy.
Like, have you ever played a tour with that many shows that consistently? I mean, like you guys are basically playing like I forget how many it was, but it was like 30 shows within the span of like a month and a few days. Like it's pretty much every day.
Yeah, I think it's literally 26 shows in like 31 days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of just how Europe goes though for some reason where I think they try to cram you in as many places as possible just because it costs so much to get out there and like there's a
Hmm.
lot of overhead expense to do Europe and because you have to rent everything and rent a van and do all that stuff. So um I think the craziest time we've ever had with that was we did a tour, like a headlining tour in Europe in 2022, and it was us and Magnitude that went over together, and we did 14 days straight with no day off, then did one day off, and then did like another 10 or 11 shows after that with no day off. And it was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
That's why, like, dude, seeing Haywire do that tour, all the props to them, man. Like straight up, like they have that. I when I saw that, I was like, damn, like so much respect
Yeah.
because that is brutal. Because they were doing the same thing where they were doing like 7, 8 shows straight, one day off, then another 7, 8 days. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think there was a stretch on there where it was like 2 weeks straight. But it's just, yeah, it's a lot, and it's like it kills your body just because you're
Yeah.
just tired no matter what every day. So, but yeah, man, I'm stoked for that tour because it's our first time like being. We're doing like a bus with counterparts and Tsunami, so it's the first time ever doing that, which is like a pretty common thing out there once you're like at counterparts level and stuff like that, like playing bigger shows. And I'm just excited. It's gonna be sick.
Do you feel like you have like a different type of care for your voice when you're playing from show 1 to show 14? Like, do you notice a difference in your voice or do you try to like, do you ever go on like vocal rest or anything like that?
Honestly, like I'm kind of at the point now where as long as I warm up a little bit before the set, even if it's for 5 minutes. But yeah, so as long as I'm like warming up and doing whatever, my voice doesn't really go or doesn't get messed up at all. I feel like I usually break in better once I'm day 3 or 4 into a tour. You know, first day or two, I feel like it's a little shaky, like kind of like how my voice is right now. And then as soon as I get over that like initial hump, because usually it's like we try to give each other a little space in between tours, but it doesn't always work out that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I'm going in from one tour to another, like it might be a little rough at first, but if I have a break between tours and then go in, it's just like kind of getting the dust off my voice, and then once I'm like 4 shows in, I'm like feeling good.
So you guys are playing with Tsunami and Scale for a decent bit, like a little stretch in like November time.
Yeah,
Are you guys gonna try to like book anything you think in like December, or are you guys just gonna take that big long break because you guys are gonna be grinding out counterparts in?
we're kind of on break right now for like most of the rest of the year. Like we only have uh one show in September
That's the
with
Asbury Park one, right?
yeah at
Yeah.
Asbury with the Menzingers. So that'll be cool. Um and then we have like all of October off, and then we start that Tsunami Scout tour the beginning of November, and we're on it for like I think 7 shows, something like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, then we just go home. Like that's it. And then we're trying to plan like one holiday show at the end of the year. But that's like still in the works, which it'll probably happen, but um that's pretty much it. Like we just have been touring like crazy for the last straight up like the last 3 years straight. Like just
Yeah.
touring and working on music and doing all that. So we're taking some time to work on the next record and just kind of have some downtime.
Do you, for like you said about the holiday show, do you guys try to play something like in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area like once a year or
That's the goal. We
yeah,
try to play at least once a year. Last year we did the All You Embrace record release in June in Kingston, which is like it's
right next to it?
Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we did that in Kingston. And then the last time that we played before that was probably about a year and a half. It was a little while. But this time we're trying to make it a little shorter, even though it's going to be about a year and a half since the last time we played. But we're trying to just do like some kind of holiday show here. And whether it's in Scranton or Wilkes-Barre or one of the surrounding towns,
Yeah.
and just make it cool and have like, some locals on it, and then just like maybe one or two of our friends' bands from out of the area. And yeah, not do it as big as the record release and still make it sick.
Yeah. I have to I guess I have to thank Scranton Wilkes-Barre because my first ever hardcore show was in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. I don't
Oh,
think
that's awesome.
I don't think it's a venue anymore. It was a really small venue, and I know Tiger Shaw played there a few times, but it used to be a pretty big hardcore venue, and I don't think it's a thing anymore. It's kind of like in like a little basement vibe.
Yes. You are talking about, I'm blanking on the name because Carl Hall.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
saw Drain and Koyo there in 22. That was like
Yeah.
that was my introduction.
I was at that show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a great show. It was
Yeah.
so fun. And I remember like Sammy like just ripping into the crowd and I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "I got to go all the way back." And I came in and I think it was Fool's Game or Life Question on, and I opened up the door and some guy just started throwing punches and I was like, "Oh shit. Like this is it." Like I don't know what to
Yeah.
do.
That venue was sick, and that was like our practice space for a long time. So we all the bands in Wilkes-Barre were like chipping in a little bit. Dude, I don't know why I just need another sip of
No,
water. I'm
you're
sorry.
good. Yeah, you're fine. I've been sipping on bay water the whole time. You're good.
That one cough just like screwed me. But yeah, we were all going in on it together, and AJ, who was running the place, was like, dude, he was charging us like absolutely nothing to practice there, and it was super sick. Gave us keys. We were able to practice any time of the night. Like, and because there was two businesses above, and they both closed at like 5 o'clock. So anytime after 5, we were able to practice like all night long if we wanted to.
Yeah.
And that I really, really miss that spot because now we don't really have like a permanent practice space. So it's kind of tough because we're just kind of in between 2 or 3 different areas to practice. So we're constantly having to lug gear to every practice space before a tour. And it just kind of, I don't know. I just miss having a place like that. And we also had a drum set up there, and I was able to go and just play whenever I wanted.
Yeah. Do you guys
So,
practice like this? You said this is your off time, or like when you guys are off, you guys try to keep it like focus on, life, career, whatever.
I mean, we don't really practice during like time off. We kind of just get ready before a tour.
Okay.
We'll do like little stuff like I'll do like vocal exercises while we're off like a couple times a week just to make sure that when we do come back I'm not just like shot. You know what I mean? Or feel
Yeah.
like wow, I haven't done this in forever. So anytime that we have time off or just in general, I'm always trying to just sing and do vocal exercises and just do stuff like that just because I want to stay decent and I also just want to get better, you know. But we don't really practice as a band like that unless it's before a tour. It just makes more sense for where we're at now. And we just play so much that like whenever we get together, we're all still very dialed, you know.
Yeah. Are,
So yeah.
are you guys all in like that area still then?
It's just Ross and I. Coleman lives in North Carolina. That's where he's from.
Okay.
So it's a little tough as well with that kind of situation. And then our bass player, who's been playing with us a bunch, Maddox, is from our area as well. But he's like just been filling in a bunch. But he goes to school in West Virginia, so he's also back and forth all the time.
Gotcha.
Uh, and then we've had two of our friends playing drums with us, and they're both from also far away. So it's just kind of hard to
Yeah.
set up practices unless it's like, okay, come up early. We'll have like rehearsal days kind of thing. You know what I mean? And just get
Yeah.
ready for a tour.
So are you and Ross technically like the only two core members, or is Maddox also in like that? Like you said you guys were like kind of like rotating out, or is it kind of like you guys have like a sixth and seventh man and you guys are all a part of One Step Closer all the time?
It's just me, Ross, and Coleman that are like the core
Okay.
members, and me and Ross are like the only original two, just because the other two guys that we had uh both just started to do career stuff pretty
Hmm.
much. One of them's going to be a dentist and is in like dental school right now, which is awesome. And then the other one is just like doing IT, like working towards an IT degree. So like I think they both just like one of them didn't really like touring and the other one just like wanted to do his career finally. So
Yeah.
it's just the three of us left. But like we've had a lot of people that have helped us out along the way and have filled in. And like I think we're kind of getting to the point where we're like, okay, maybe we should bring some people in and make it like a band again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'll leave you with one more question. We're talking about like how like they want to start their careers and stuff. Like, what do you kind of see like the longevity in like One Step Closer? Like, do you guys feel like the goal is just to keep releasing and touring and putting out until people like, if and when like you're not getting the same kind of like, I don't want to say love, but you know what I mean, like viewage as you are now, or just keep going until you guys don't want to anymore, till it's not fun.
I don't really know. I mean, we've talked about we've never really had like a full conversation on like what our goals are. I think our goal obviously is just to play. We
Hmm.
want to become a bigger band and like we've been doing it long enough that now it's just kind of like okay, like let's strive to do that, And I think now everyone is getting like a little older. Like I turned 26 next month and Ross is 26 and Coleman's 27 and we're in like our mid 20s now, so it's just kind of like we're going to see how the next thing that we do goes
Hmm.
and like kind of assess what we are and where and like how active we want to be after we do this next record. And I think that's kind of where we'll leave it for now.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to ever stop playing music. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like how far will the band take us? We don't really know it unless we just keep doing the thing,
Fair
you know.
enough. So like I one pivot off of is the next goal for an album release like 26, or is it you guys gonna do like early 27?
Um Probably, I mean, I would say most definitely next year.
Okay. And you guys are just starting the recording process now, or are you guys doing that after you guys come back from Counterparts then?
No, I mean we're just very much in writing mode at the
Okay.
moment. Very much in writing mode. We don't even have set dates for recording. It's just
Gotcha.
we are fully full blown just every single day working on music, and just demoing and making ideas come to life, hopefully. And just kind of once we feel like we're in a good spot, that's when we'll kind of decide what's going to happen.
Gotcha. Well, I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm very stoked on what we're doing so far. So I think it'll be cool.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Rye, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me again. It was an honor.
So guys, there will be a ton of links down below. It will have like one step closer, like their Instagram and stuff, and make sure to try to check them out this upcoming fall and spring. Counterparts, Tsunami, Scout. I mean, they're all great bands and great supporting acts, and it's just going to be a great tour overall. I know I'll be at a few of the shows.
Sick.
Till next time, guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
Thanks.